Welcome, guys, to another session of the visa interview experience. And today I have with me Bernard, who is actually going to do an introduction. And in this video, he's going to share with us how he was able to get a visa interview waiver, which I know is not common. And based on this interview, he's going to share his experience and how he was able to get a waiver. What that means is that he didn't go through the normal processes of going to stand in front of a visa officer to be interviewed. He got a waiver, a visa interview date waiver for his grad school application. Can you tell us more about yourself, where you are currently, and what you are doing?
Okay, thank you so much, Evans, for hosting me. My name is Bernard Ninkwe, as you said. I'm currently studying Masters in Communications at Idaho State University. And I've been here, I was here in the fall, and then it's been like a little over 5 months, and I can confidently say that it's been good. So far, it's been good, even though it's, for instance, you're coming from a whole different continent to a whole different country. There were so many things that like you'll be overwhelmed like initially, but I can confidently tell you that like so far it's been good.
Okay, so Idaho State University. So let me take you back to Ghana. When you were in Ghana, I know you applied in 2022, or did you apply in 2023? Which year did you start?
No. I have a very peculiar case. Like I was lucky. Someone introduced me, like a friend of mine who came to, let me say, back home. Like I've been a practicing journalist for over a decade with Graphic Communications Group Limited. I think every Ghanaian knows Graphic Communications, like one of the leading media organizations in the country. So that's where I've been, like after school, after GIJ. That's where I've been all my life. And then I was fortunate. I met a friend, someone who came to do internship. I was with the graphic sports session. So a student from UCC who came to do his internship, like let me say internship, and then later join us on national service. He introduced me to this whole thing. Initially I was not really interested, but he was like, Ben, you can do this, like with all your experience and all that, you can easily get this done. But in 2022 he introduced me to it. I think that was the latter part of 2022, but then I was not so much into it.
Now, but wait, Bernard, can you tell us why you were not interested?
Oh, then like I didn't know much about it, and I've not really heard about it. I've not had people like tell me, or I've not had friends travel like using that route. So I didn't really believe so much in it, because I just saw it to be something he was just telling me. But I always say that in this life, you always have to be like, you should know the kind of, like, the way you treat people, because you don't know the kind of roles that they will play in your life, like going forward. He was someone that came to my let me say my department as an intern, and later I came as a national service, but I treated him like a brother. I was so close with him. We did everything together. So in return, like God used him to introduce this whole thing to me. So I think after 2022, when I didn't really pay attention to it, the following year, he was still on me. He didn't give up. He was always emphasizing on the need for me to like take this opportunity. But he believes that I'll get the opportunity when if I apply. So let me say, I have been lucky, like due to my work, I've been able to travel. Let me say, I went to Cameroon for the AFCON in 2022. Yes, in 2022. I was there in January. Then in July, I was in the UK for the Commonwealth Games. So even before I went to the Commonwealth Games, I think we had started like applying, considering sending emails to schools, like professors, asking them on what to do, requirements and all that. But when I came back from the UK, I had a chance to come to the US. So at the time, I had already started like writing to schools on this application stuff. But I had a chance to come to the US. This Ghanaian boxer, Richard Comey.
Yeah.
I do a lot of boxing stuff with, like, back home. Like, I'm a sports journalist, so I do a lot of boxing stuff. So he fought a boxer called Jose Ramirez Like, so I'm so close to him and his team. So they wanted to bring me here. So they spoke to me and then I did application and everything. But I got a visa, like because an I visa, that's like a visa for journalists. I got it, but the unfortunate incident happened. I got the visa and then suddenly I lost my dad.
Bernard, Bernard, wait, your story is really fascinating, and I want us to take it a point after the other because I am really enjoying your story. So, an intern at Graphic Sport introduced graduate school application. The fact that you've been able to work 10 years, he saw your experience and he was like, no, you can actually apply to school in the United States and get a fully funded scholarship. Yet you doubted. And you later believed in whatever he was saying and bought the idea. So you started sending cold emails and all that. You've been practicing journalism for the past 10 years as a sport journalist. And the fact that you also applied to the United States to come and cover a boxing event, which your visa was actually approved, yet you couldn't come because you lost your dad. Please, am I getting the story right?
Yeah, that was what happened. You see, everywhere, like anytime I think of me being in the US and studying masters, I always think of Emmanuel, like Emmanuel Do. I mean, the intender
Yeah,
in there because it is not as if he just introduced me to the whole thing, but it was with me throughout. So, despite introducing me to the this application stuff, he was always with me, like throughout my applications, everything I'm supposed to do. He was the one assisting me and he did everything with me. So I can boldly say that Ima even knows some of my department, like some of the professors and things in my department,
yeah.
despite not meeting them, because we were constantly like contacting them. Sometimes you come together, oh Ben, let's do this, let's do that. And one thing is that the first time he even introduced me to this whole thing, he spoke to me about this whole thing. It was like, then he had written an SOP.
Yeah, statement of purpose.
Yes, exactly. Statement of purpose, SOP. And because he knows that like we have been practicing for a very long time and we know how to write, he asked me to go through it for him. So after going through it, that was when he spoke to me about this whole thing. But like I said, I didn't really pay attention. So fast forward, like he spoke to me initially, I didn't really pay attention. Later, I decided to consider it. So I started sending like with him, we were both sending, he was telling me how to draft messages and then send to
Yeah.
schools and all that. So we did all that. And then I was getting responses
Uh-huh.
in the schools. But after this boxing bout issue came in,
Yeah.
and then I got a visa. Like even though when I got a visa, I was like, no, let me just throw this whole school thing away because at the end of the day, it's US visa that I need.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the visa now.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's about coming to the US, then why should I worry myself and go through this school stress when I already have the visa?
Yeah.
But God works in mysterious ways. Uh, Sometimes some things happen that you never understand. Because when my dad passed, it was one of the worst moments of my life because that was the exact time that I had the chance to come to the US. And you ask yourself that oh, this is something that you've always wanted to experience US and all that. I've been to the US embassy twice on working. Like I was supposed to come and work as a journalist over here, but I was rejected. I didn't get a visa on those two occasions. On my third time, I got a visa. That was for the we should call me fight that I spoke about. And
Mm.
just when I was about to get to the US, my dad passed.
I don't know, but this is really unfortunate because you get a chance to come to the US. You've been rejected on several occasions before, yet there is this golden opportunity for you to come and cover, this boxing activity. And your father died during that same time you got your US visa approved. And we're going to know what Bernard actually did, whether he forfeited or disregarded coming to US just to give his father a befitting burial, or he came to US and just forgot about his dad's burial. Bernard, please continue for us.
When I got the visa and I came home, like I was confused because I was torn between choosing the dream, as in traveling to the States,
Hey,
or staying behind and then giving my dad a befitting burial.
yeah.
So the only thing that came to mind was that I had to speak to my mom, my uncle, and then my other brother. I need to sit them down, talk to them, and then we decide. So what happened was I spoke to my mom, my uncle, and then my other brother. So I told them that oh, this is the opportunity. What do we do? should I give you guys some money for the funeral and then I can leave?
Mm-hmm.
Or I have to stay back and give
So
my
you were
dad.
kind of contemplating what to do.
Exactly. Like I was, because this my father are talking about. This is someone that has done so much for me. So you can't just say because you have to go to the US, you just wake up one day and then just disregard him like that. And then because if for nothing at all, you have to ensure that you do something for him to know that you still care about him, even though
Mm.
he's no more. So I spoke to them, and then the agreement was that we can, it's an opportunity. So probably I can leave some money and then leave. But something really happened that very night. The night we agreed that I can just leave the money and then go to the States. That night my brother had a dream. My dad told him that myself and him should stay strong and give him a befitting burial. That was the turning point. My brother called me early morning. We met the night before, and the following morning, my brother called me and said, "Ben, you have to abort this whole plan." And I was like, "What's happening?" And he asked me to come. So I went with him to my uncle, and then he booked the news to us over there. So then I was like, "No, I have to respect the memory of my dad." So I had to forfeit everything and then just ensure that I give my dad a befitting burial. So
Your brother had a dream, and in a dream, your father actually told him that you and your brother should give him a befitting burial. And you were able to stand on what your brother said to make a decision that you are not coming to the US. You are instead going to give your father, that kind of burial that he deserved instead of coming to the US. This takes like some bold steps and bold.
yeah. The reason why I didn't think twice on that decision was that I know with the kind of job that I do, getting a US visa wouldn't be a problem. The fact
Mhm.
that I've been able to get one, and mind you, like I told you earlier, I've been to the UK, so it will be easier getting another visa.
Yeah, travel
So
history.
yes, travel history. So that was what I was thinking about. That now that I have the visa, I've gotten a US visa. Even if I don't travel, getting another US visa will not be difficult.
Mm.
So why don't you wait? Give your dad the befitting burial that he deserves. No matter what, there will be other opportunities in the future. And that was what my uncle even told me. That, oh, this is just the first opportunity. There are several opportunities on the way. So just wait, give your dad a befitting burial. Then you think about what next to do.
But I'm still trying to put myself in your shoes and the kind of story that you're sharing. Was it like a personal conviction that you had, or it was just based on the dream are you the firstborn?
No, I happen to be the third born, but as it stands now, I'm like a second born because we lost our other brother
Oh, my
in
condolence.
2018. So as it stands, I'm like this, like the second, so I'm like let me say I'm the last born of like three boys. Like we are four. It used to be three boys and then one girl,
Mm-hmm.
but we lost our other brother. So as it stands now, I have one other brother and then one sister.
Oh, okay. And you decided not to, like the question I was asking. So was it based on what they were telling you, or it was just based on your personal conviction and that you thought that, oh, okay, this thing is actually in alignment or conforming to what these people are saying. So let me just get rid of these US visa and bury my father, then try another opportunity some other time.
Okay, like I told you earlier, aside having the belief that even if I miss this opportunity, I'll get another one in the
Mm-hmm.
future.
Mm-hmm.
I also have been contemplating, mind you, like I also believe that like giving someone that has labored for you all your life, someone that has really done so much for you, giving that person like a befitting send off.
Yeah.
I always feel that is the best. So the fact that my brother we could meet tonight, talk about this thing, and then that dawn, my brother can have that
Dream.
dream means a lot, like meant a lot to me. So to me, like I saw it to be like my dad speaking to me in
Mm.
a different way. But that was a turning point, like I told you. That is the reason why I am here today. After I aborted the decision to come to the US,
Mm-hmm.
that was when I decided to revisit my application.
So all these things were actually happening in 2022. You getting a
2023,
US,
2023.
it was happening in 2023.
Yes, that was around my dad passed in February last year. So next month, my dad will be like 1 year since he passed. So it was around February, March there.
Oh, okay. So you got your visa around February, March,
I got my visa on a very significant day, Vows Day.
and your dad passed on that same day.
No, my dad passed like I think 2 or 3 days to the visa interview.
Despite all these things that like were actually happening, you were still able to come to the United States in 2023.
Yes, that was the turning point. So I had aborted the decision to chase this school thing. In
Yeah,
fact, who wouldn't want to have the opportunity to come and study like masters in the US?
yeah.
It's a very big opportunity. So I had aborted it because, like I told you, I'd gotten a US visa. So I'd aborted it. But I have the visa now. I've lost my dad. I've decided not to come to the US. And mind you, that visa was just a 3 month visa. Yeah,
Mm,
so I was just coming to work and then go back. So it was just a 3 month visa. So when I aborted it, and I was like, no, now if I'm now I'm not able, I'm not going to the I'm not going, I'll not be able to go to the US. So let me try this school thing again. And the reason why I decided to come back, like chase this school thing was that upon all the schools that I contacted when I decided to do this school thing,
how many do you remember?
oh, more than 10.
Hmm.
Idaho State University really expressed, I think the Faculty of Communication, Media, and Persuasion, they really expressed interest in me. The faculty chair, Dr. James DeSanza,
Yeah.
he told me point blank, it was emphatic in his email to me that oh, I have a vast experience and he will want me in the department.
Hmm.
So that was the school that I really targeted. So I was corresponding when I started to give it a try again. I was always like corresponding, like emailing him. He was
Yeah.
responding to me. So all
Yeah.
that. But because I delayed, because I halted the application, I delayed in the application. So when I decided to come back, I had just 2 weeks to put in my application.
Eh, because I'm thinking if you came in for 2023, it means you actually started code emailing and reaching out to these professors in 2022.
Yes, let me see, latter part of 2022
Yeah,
into
into
January 2023.
2023.
Yeah.
So imagine you dropping it and burying
Mhm.
your dad and coming back
Yes.
with the idea that a lot of people too are applying, and some of
Yes.
them too have this great qualification. Some of them have written test
I
courses. You
think
are coming to compete with all these people just 2 weeks to the application or priority deadline.
the story is very fascinating. We are getting there. So after I had 2 weeks, so I have to rush. So I quickly called Ima,
Mhm.
the intern I spoke to you about.
Yeah.
Told Ima that Ima was really sad when I told him about my dad and the fact that I'll not be traveling and all that. So I just told him that, bro, you have to help me. We have to do this. I want to consider this school thing again now that I'll not be traveling. So I want to consider it. I was like, okay, why not? So we arranged and we met. I think you know where we used to meet.
The usual place.
The usual place, like
Yeah,
KFC,
KFC.
Osu. So we met there and I told him everything. He was like, why not? So quickly we had to put together a SOP and the thing that we needed. So I did all that inside the application. Then the most difficult aspect is the recommendations. It is very, very difficult because getting people to give you the recommendation is very, very difficult.
Very
So
difficult. Yeah.
Imam told me point blank that I should be chasing that one. As for the rest, we can do it. So I think I used to people in my office like they recommended me. Then I needed one person from my school, that's GIJ.
Yeah.
And at the time I spoke to one man, Mr. James Asante. He's the dean of journalism at GIJ.
Yeah.
So he's my very good friend. So I spoke to him about him. He said, "Oh, I should come. He would do it for me." So when I got there, I think by the time I was supposed to go for the recommendation for him to go to the recommendation, it was like I had like just 2 or 3 days to the deadline, to the end of the application.
Mm.
And I was very tensed because I needed to put in this application.
Yeah.
So I went there one day. I didn't even know. When I got there, it was a like graduation day for GIG students. Can you imagine? And there was no way I needed to get that recommendation on that very day
Wow.
because if I leave, that day, it will
Mhm.
be impossible for
Yeah,
me to get it.
to
And
get
that
it.
means I'll not be able to apply.
Mm-hmm.
So I got there and I met James, Dr. James Asante, and I told him that. And he told me that, oh, Ben, I'm sorry. Like, I can't do anything. Today's graduation. I can't. So I was frustrated. I was just working. People were making merry for graduating. And
Mm-hmm.
like you know that. And I was frustrated. I was looking for an opportunity to also chase a dream.
Yeah,
So I was there. I was just there. I was just frustrated, thinking of what next to do. And I saw one of my lecturers at GIG, when I was in GIG, one of the lecturers. I saw him and I approached him. He was like, Ben, what are you doing? He knows me because he's been coming to graphic a lot. So I was like, Ben, what are you doing here? And then I told him everything. He was like, oh, okay, Ben, follow me. So he took me to like several, like, he used to be a lecturer at GIG, but he's on retirement.
yeah.
Like, I think he was just there to assist, like, in the graduation. So he took me there, he took me to several professors, and they were all telling me the same thing now. Today is not favorable. Today is a graduation day.
Graduation, yeah,
And I was telling them that, oh, like, I have everything. I just need them to put in like whatever I have
yeah.
and do it for me. That's all I need. I went there with a laptop and everything.
Prepared.
But they were all telling me, they were all telling me now. So I was just standing there. And as for this man, I'm just praying that whatever God has in store for me over here should come to pass. When I get to Ghana, I have to go and see that man, like a lecturer at GIG. He taught me at GIG, but it's been long, so it was over 10 years, so there was no way he could remember me.
Mm-hmm.
So he was standing there, and then this same man that took me to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he told him that, oh, this is my boy. He has this problem. I want you to help him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he told me that, oh, he can't help me at the moment, but he can give me his email address and his number for me to send all the things to him. Then that night, when I get home, I should just send him like a reminder. Immediately he sees the reminder, he will just go and do it for me.
Weren't you scared?
I was scared. I didn't believe it, but I didn't have any choice. So I did that. So I remember around 6, 7 p.m., I just sent him like a message
Mm-hmm.
that, oh, like, this is me, this and that. And then he responded and told me that, oh, yes, he was working on it. So I didn't believe it until I got an email. You've been through, so when someone recommends you, you get an email.
Yeah, you get an email, yeah.
So when I got the email that the man had done, because that was the only thing left at the time. So when I got the email that the man had done it for me, and I started crying because I couldn't believe it. This is someone that,
You
let me say,
never
yes,
anticipated. Yeah.
exactly. I was, so I started crying. I said, okay. Then that night was a deadline. So the following day was, if I'm not able to pay that night, then it means that the following day, like, I'll not be able to pay, like, apply for this. So that night I was supposed to pay. Then look at what happened. After going through all this stress, I decided to pay with my Visa card, and it was not going through. So I remember, I remember calling Imam,
Uh-huh.
telling Imam that, oh, Charlie, this was happening. Imam said, oh, after all these things that we've gone through.
Yeah, because this is serious.
So then I said, okay, no. Then quickly, one of my best friends, like in Ohio, over here,
Yeah.
came to mind. It's been a while since we spoke. I think the last time we spoke was when my dad passed.
Mm-hmm.
He heard about it and he called me to extend his condolences and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I quickly I called him. I, bro, Charlie, I can, his wife and kids are in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
So I said, well, bro, I can send this money. I want you to pay this thing for me, and I'll go and give the money to your wife and kids.
Mm.
And he said, oh, boss, just send me the details. So I sent him everything. And he paid that night for me. Immediately I called him, I told him that he paid. So when he paid for me, then I received the email that my application has been completed and all that. So I told him that then the following day I'll go and give the money to his wife. He said, oh, I should forget it. Like, it was, I think, $65 or $60.
And
He said
this
I should
was,
forget.
everything was happening in one night.
Exactly. So, sorry, after he paid for me and everything, that was when I was like, okay, now God has seen me through. I have to wait for my feet. I need to know what will go on.
Yeah.
So let me say, I applied in all this. I was able to apply for only one school.
Only one school, and which is
Yes,
really risky because if you're applying to one school and you don't get a yes, it means the dream is shattered for that period.
exactly. It means that you have to wait for the next semester. So I waited, and that's it. I think after 2 or 3 weeks after applying, after submitting my applications, the next 2 or 3 weeks, I got another call from a boxer who was coming to the US to come and fight. And they wanted to take me along as well. So I was like, I need to know my feet. I need to know whether I'm getting this school and coming to school, or maybe I can use the boxer, like I can come to the US and like through the boxer.
But at that time, your first visa that you got had actually expired.
Yes. I think the visa started in March, from February to like April, like May or something, like early May.
Yeah.
That's when it expired. We buried my dad in April.
Oh, okay.
So like, but after May it had expired. And I'm talking about that same, like within that same period. Yeah, May there. That was when I think I submitted my application to like ISU, Idaho State University, around like ending of April or something. So I got a call like in the middle of May or like late May from the boxer and all that. And they wanted my particulars so that we can start the process.
Yeah.
But I had to contemplate. I needed to know whether I was going to get, because I would love to come to the US with education. That would be my choice bet. So I was praying that I would get it in. But I was delaying. So 1 month passed. Then the people were piling pressure on me. I mean, the boxer and then the management. When are you bringing your passport? And all that. So I was just there one day and I was like, okay, let me send. There is this the woman in charge of the graduate assistantship, rewarding the graduate assistantship and scholarship in my department is called Dr. Nilam Sharma. She's someone that, aside Dr. James Sansa, the faculty chair, she was someone that I was in constant conversation with. So I said, let me just send her an email and ask when I can hear from them, so that I can make my own decision.
Yeah.
So it was a Friday, I remember very well. I contacted her, I sent her an email. In less than 20 minutes, she responded and told me, congratulations. I sent her the email.
Bernard, your story is just amazing from the start. I'm telling you, and it's like something was just pushing
exactly
the whole process. It's like,
you see, even though I believe God worked this thing for me, sometimes I'm tempted to believe that my dad paid the price for me to come. I'm sometimes tempted to believe that, because I remember when I was going to the US embassy, I think the visa that I got, I couldn't travel.
Yeah.
When I was about entering the embassy, I was just mentioning my dad's name. I was just mentioning his name, like, and I just felt that he could help me get a visa.
Yeah.
I was just mentioning his name, and then surely I got it, and then all this thing happened. So Dr. Nilam Sharma sent me an email congratulating me. Told me that she just sent in like her decision to the graduate school, and I've been awarded a fully funded scholarship, and which comes with assistantship and all that. So
your admission came with your funding.
Everything came, like, it was an email that she sent to me before I even received an official email from the school. She sent, because I was just checking up on her and wanted to ask whether like when to expect anything from them, and she confirmed it to me. So I was just behind my computer, like in the office, and I screamed because
the joy.
Like, I was amazed. Like, I just screamed. And there is this colleague in my office who has also been applying, he's also looking for the opportunity to come here. So the moment I screamed, he thought that, no, I've gotten the thing. And then he was like, Ben, what's up? Have you gotten it? And I was like, yeah, I've gotten it. So that night I couldn't sleep. Yeah. I couldn't sleep that night. When I got home, I called my brother and I called my uncle. When I called him, my brother started crying.
You've not even gone for your visa interview.
As for the visa, I knew it was a done deal.
Really?
Yes, I knew it was a done deal because of one, the fact that I've already gotten their visa. I have a travel history.
Yeah.
I have a job. Like, all the odds were favoring me.
Yeah.
So I knew it would take something extra, like an extraordinary thing for them to reject me.
Yeah.
Yes. So and I had the consent of my company too, because they were giving me a steady leave and all that.
Oh,
so
okay.
And yes, so it will take an extraordinary situation for them to just reject me.
Your case, you were just interested in just getting admission and funding from the school. That's what.
Exactly. That was all. Like I knew that if I get that thing, it will take an extraordinary situation for the embassy to reject me the visa.
Okay.
Because I will be having other assistants, I mean letters and everything for my company as well.
Yeah.
So there was no way it would be very difficult for them to reject me. So after facing all this hurdle, now I have to start the visa process and all that. You know, because of where I work, we have a relationship with the US Embassy.
Yeah.
So quickly, my company contacted them and told them that they've approved steadily for me to go abroad, go to the US to go and study and all that. So all that my company needed was for them to assist me to get a date for an interview.
Yeah.
And that was where my trouble started. It became very, very, very difficult because I've never been to the US Embassy. I've never struggled for dates. What we do is that because of our peculiar situation, my company will just contact them and they'll ask for my details, and then they will do everything for me. And they just give me a date to come for an interview. So I was expecting that same thing. But this time around, they told me that there were so many, because it's school and it's not for journalism purposes. There are so many applicants, and then it has to take time. I have to wait. And I got my admission and everything I think in June. So it was very close. I needed to be in school by I guess 14.
Yeah.
So it was very, very close. So there was no way I could sit down and say I'm waiting.
And at that time, some of us had applied in March for dates. So we already had our dates. And you were now coming to find and search for dates in June.
Exactly. So I couldn't sleep. Like I was having sleepless nights because I can't labor for this and then just allow the opportunity to just slide.
Yeah.
I needed to fight for it. So I was having sleepless. I was doing everything possible to get a date. I have my own contacts at the embassy. I was doing virtually everything. I always have to thank the editor of Daily Graphic, Mr. Teofilus. God bless him. He was persistent. He was always on the embassy, like asking them to help me, because he realized that it was an opportunity for me, and he realized that I was not thinking straight, getting a date. So I remember through Mr. Teofilus, the editor of Daily Graphic, he's still the editor of Daily Graphic.
Yeah.
He got me someone at the embassy, and the person took my details and told me that they will send me an email to confirm a date for me. But it was still delaying. But look at what happened. I was just there. And that same person that the editor introduced me to called me and asked me to come to the embassy, like the US embassy. That they were having a program for they were having a pre-departure orientation program for Ghanaian students who were going to the US to study. So I think I was part of about 20 or 30 people that have been selected to meet embassy staff and then tell them about what to expect in the US and all that. So the woman called me and invited me. And I was like, but how can you be inviting me to a place that I don't even have a visa to go?
No, Bernard, wait. So, your company graphic, the editor tried to get you a date because what you are saying adds up, because if you've been traveling and coming back, and also you once had a US visa, but because of your dad's unfortunate situation, you didn't go. And now you have a different opportunity to go that is using the school route. And now you've gotten somebody who's going to actually help you find a date. And the date is not yet in, somewhere around June. Meanwhile, the day is approaching. Your start date is actually approaching. And this same person calls you and says that a program going on at the embassy and you've been selected, come and be part of that program. How you didn't even have a date at that time? Did you go?
I didn't even know I didn't even know whether I was going to the US or not, because I didn't even have a date for an interview, let alone talk about having a visa. So I was just confused. Like I told her that I can't come because what am I coming to do there?
Yeah, because this.
Yeah, I was. And then I remember what the woman told me. You see, that was why I said how it was God and my dad at display.
Yeah,
I don't want to disregard God because God is supreme. So
yeah.
I have to mention God's name in everything that I do. Because the one thing that the woman said to me, He said, Ben, don't you believe in God? That was the only thing that the woman told me. When I told the woman that how can I come? Like, I don't even have a date. Like,
Yeah.
instead of you getting me a date, you want me to come for a pre-departure dating just to come
Program.
arouse my feelings and all that. So, and then she said, oh, like, Bernard, don't you believe in God? Then that statement really hit me.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, when are you having a program? Then she said Tuesday. And Tuesday happens to be my off day. You see how God works?
Mm.
So I just told her that, okay, what time? She said I shouldn't worry. They will
The
send me an
details.
email, details and everything. So okay. Then I received the email and all that. So I told him about it. And Ima said, oh, I should just go and see.
Then Ima was just right with you from. And one thing
From
I want to say about Ima, I don't know, but I'm wondering the time that he was assisting you, I guess he hadn't even gotten a decision from a school yet. He was just selfless and just helping you. And I think that
yes,
was really
yes.
key.
I think he had applied, I think he applied about over 5 schools,
Yeah.
4 or 5 schools. And then at the time he started helping me, it's like we were all stragglers. We were all chasing the same
Yeah.
dream. But along the line, he got his admission and everything. I think he got it in around March there. So I was very, very happy for him.
Yeah.
At that time, I had aborted my dream and I was also going for my visa to travel for work purposes.
Yeah.
I was happy for him because Ima has chased this dream since I have known him. It's something that
Yeah.
he has really worked hard for. So I
Yeah.
was so happy for him that he really finally got it and all that. So at the time, I was struggling to get a date. He had already secured a date and was waiting to go for an interview
Yeah. In July.
in July. Yes, good. So I went for the pre-departure orientation, and people, embassy staffs came to talk to us about what to expect. Ghanaian students that have been on the same route to the US came to speak to us, and some Ghanaian lecturers from who are working in the States also came to talk to us and all that. So we were about ending the program, and then the MC said, oh, we are lucky, but the ambassador says that she wants to come around and then talk to us. She says that we were special because I think during COVID, it's something that they've been doing every year. But after COVID, they placed it on hold for some time. So we were the first batch after
After
COVID.
COVID. Yeah.
So the woman wanted to meet us and talk to us. And the woman came. So the woman came to tell us, congratulated us that it's not easy to even get an admission to a US school. So we are all winners and all that. Then the woman was like, okay, before she leaves, if we have any question to ask her, she's ready. And that was the perfect opportunity for me to ask the woman what I was going through. So I just raised my hand.
Bernard, you got the boldness to ask the ambassador, US ambassador, a question after she was done with her speech and presentation. Can you
Exactly.
tell us what you asked?
Yeah, she gave us the opportunity to ask any question that we feel that was.
Didn't you feel like intimidated, anxious? Because I know US embassy has always been like tense, like, it's like formality, you can't behave anyhow, and I'm just wondering the kind of pressure and tension that was in that room that actually propelled you, to still get that mandate and raise up your hand and say, I have a question.
Okay, the thing is that maybe because of my background, like as a journalist,
Oh,
we
okay.
get a chance to meet so many people, like
Yeah.
big people. And that was not the first time I was meeting. I think I've met her like on 2 occasions
Oh, okay.
before. So I was not so I understand the situation. I understand the situation whereby like in Ghana or in Africa, getting into the US embassy alone like brings a lot of tension. I know. But I think because she also gave us the opportunity to ask questions,
Yeah.
I just raised my hand and then I introduced myself. So I was smart. In my introduction, I just told her that I told her my name, I told her where I work. Because I needed to capture her mind.
Yeah.
So I introduced myself, my name, where I work, and the fact that I got a US visa in February, was supposed to work, and I lost my dad. And she was like, oh, sorry, like accept my condolence. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she said, okay, so what's your problem?